Welcome to Seltzer Squad, the podcast about staying sober in the city, with your hosts, Kate Sander and Jess Valentine.
Jess, what's our number one piece of advice when people are getting sober?
Therapy.
So much therapy that I'm going to school to be a giver of therapy.
This is true.
BetterHelp reached out to partner with us at the Seltzer Squad to offer 10% off a monthly membership to BetterHelp.com.
What is BetterHelp.com?
BetterHelp is an online therapy platform that is for individuals, for couples. You take a short quiz, you get matched up with a mental health professional, and you, through the app, are able to video, or you can just message back and forth with a licensed professional to give you counseling and guidance on anything and everything that you're going through.
So how do our listeners use our code?
You just go to betterhelp.com/Seltzer Squad and you'll receive 10% off your first month.
Hey, Kate. So someone in our Facebook group made a joke saying that you never finish books. So I'm just curious, have you finished any books lately?
So I believe the last Audible ad was talking about Blackout, and no, I haven't finished that one. I often don't finish books, but I don't feel bad because I'm just listening. I'm currently listening to a book on emotional childhood neglect called Running on Empty, and if you guys sign up to audibletrial.com/Seltzer Squad, you can get your first month for free and listen to books haphazardly like we do.
The best part about listening to a book on Audible is it's kind of like a podcast. You can drop it at any time and pick it up anytime. So definitely use our promo code and get your first month free.
Jessica.
Hey.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I'm so chilling.
What's your vibe for Thanksgiving this year?
I don't know.
Are you guys doing
I'm not
anything?
going to be, I'm not going to be home for Christmas this year. So I'm going to obviously go to my mom's for Thanksgiving. I don't give a shit about Thanksgiving. I think it's one of the dumbest fucking holidays that we could possibly even, don't even get me started on it.
I feel weird about it.
You feel weird about it?
Yeah, I'm like,
But-
why are we still doing this? Okay.
Exactly. Like stealing the fucking land. Like, why are we celebrating this? But
Mass murdering
whatever.
turkeys? Don't get me started.
Ordering what?
Mass murdering turkeys to celebrate the day we stole a bunch of shit? I don't know. Feels weird.
The whole thing is fucking dumb. But I'm gonna make a conscious effort to go to my mom's just because she'll be happy and I won't be here for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron, oh my gosh, Cameron might go to her mom's, which is in Hawaii, but I feel like I probably would hang back. So What about you? Do you have any plans? You go to TJ's parents or?
A couple of years ago, my little sister, we had family in town, and my little sister treated us all to a prefix Thanksgiving at a restaurant, and it was a lovely experience. And so TJ and I looked at tickets to go home, and it seems like the airlines are price gouging exactly around the holidays. It's basically free to fly any of the other days. And so I just kind of said to my family, look, I'm not spending $1,000 to fly home. I love you all, but I'll see you in the spring.
Yeah.
As you know, the time change is upon us, and so the darkness begins. And so I've just been trying to think about some fun things I can plan for the holidays to kind of create some new local traditions with TJ, because now his parents are definitely gone. We're kind of coming out of the pandemic and everybody's reassessing their lives. I was like, maybe we should just find a restaurant or go back to that restaurant and have a prefix Thanksgiving dinner with friends or, other orphans that are still around.
Friendsgiving?
And have a Friendsgiving sort of tradition. So I'm looking forward to that. But Thanksgiving just feels strange to me that we're still doing that. And now I kind of just associate it with feeling guilty. I don't really and then there's this forced sense of gratitude, right? What are we all grateful for? And I'm it just kind of makes me feel complicated, I guess. I feel complex about Thanksgiving.
I hate it. I think it's such a stupid.
As I'm sitting there eating my Thanksgiving dinner, I'm thinking about people that don't have things and how it came to be. And it makes me feel sad as I'm eating my stuffing. Don't get me wrong. I love Thanksgiving food. I just wish that we could pick a different way to eat that. on a different day, maybe for a different reason.
Like any day.
Yeah,
Just
any day.
because you feel like it.
Yeah. So I don't know, but there's a lot that not a lot in my life has changed in the last year. It's been kind of like pandemic rerun. But I feel like I'm grateful for a lot of like emotional things that have happened. And I don't know. Is it weird to just be grateful that like nothing terrible happened?
No, I think that that's just fine.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with that.
Not
at
a lot
all.
of amazing stuff happened. There's definitely highlights and lowlights of the year, but
Sure.
I'm like,
But you're still here.
it's been kind of baseline, and I'm grateful for that.
I think that that's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with just being grateful that the world hasn't ended. And,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even like think about Thanksgiving. Like it's just not even a thought process. Obviously, I don't work. I mean, well, I'm off on Thursdays anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
even if I just wouldn't work because fuck that.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I'll just go to my mom's because like she can't like whatever. Like
Mhm.
families tend to get together on the the holidays. But it's also like kind of the start of holiday season, which I know can kind of catapult people into like depression / freaking out about their sobriety and how they're going to like deal with their family, especially in new sobriety. So I'm glad that like, you know, I have 3 years under my belt. So it's like a non-issue. Not that Thanksgiving for me was ever like a drinking day. Every day was a drinking day, you know, like there was no special reason. But I guess a lot of people go home on like, there's Thanksgiving Eve, right?
Yeah.
People go out. I don't know. It's like, hopefully that won't appeal to people anymore. Like a crowded ass bar while we're like, still in a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Just not for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this year is different than last year where more people are traveling to go kind of celebrate the last 2 years of things that they missed. And
Yeah.
I just wonder, I still just hope all of the people that were able to work on their recovery during the pandemic are able to maintain that, you know, sense of normalcy when they are kind of catapulted into these new environments, because I still feel like the pandemic worked to our advantage for creating new routines and kind of recreating the self, right? Like, oh, I don't do that anymore. I haven't done that for like 2 years now. So it's easier to kind of reinforce the behavior because we've had a little bit of time to practice. But I know that like, I mean, my family still triggers the shit out of me. Not necessarily that I want to drink, but it certainly brings up all sorts of thoughts and feelings that are uncomfortable at times, especially as I'm learning more about myself, especially as I'm more into my sobriety. And, you know, there are just still people that haven't changed at all. And I feel like I've changed a lot. And that's always something I notice around the holidays is every year I notice how much I am different and value different things. Like, it's even hard for me to want to buy Christmas gifts for my friends and family because I know none of us need anything. And so I grapple with that. And I'm so grateful for all that we have and all that we've, you know, created in our lives. And I'm proud of my friends and family for that. But I'm kind of conflicted about, you know, all of these traditions that we've all grown up. It's like, I just want to tell my family, like, none of us need anything. Like, we can all buy it. It's hard for me to sort of, I don't know, get excited about that because I'm like, I just feel like we're re-giving each other this amount of money.
Yeah.
And
just consumerism.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
and I guess I have
like,
more, I would rather
unnecessary.
like have an experience with them. Like that Thanksgiving with my family was so special because it was different, but we were all together and there was no obligations for giving gifts. It was just like, we were all just having such a great time. It will be one of my most cherished. It was one of my most favorite Thanksgivings. And it was just because we
this
were
was
all,
last year?
It was 2 years ago. So
Okay.
it was
Beginning of pandemic.
the November before the pandemic. My older sister was here, my niece was here, and my little sister lived here at that point. And so it was like we had this great prefix Thanksgiving dinner, and it was just so nice. It was no stress because nobody had to cook or plan or, you know, accommodate people at their house. We just got to go and hang out with the staff at this restaurant near our place. And I want more of that, I think, is what I've been reflecting on during the pandemic is the holidays mean a lot to me, but I just want them to, I want to feel like I'm celebrate them for my right reasons, not necessarily the right reasons. I don't know if there is a right reason, but
Sure.
to me. And, you know, maybe that involves getting involved with volunteering, something like that to kind of shake things up.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. When I first moved to Jersey City, a couple of Thanksgivings I volunteered during the holidays because it was, again, expensive to fly home. And it's something that I would like to get TJ involved in if he's into it as well. If it's like with animals or with people or whatever, just to, I don't know, feel like I'm spending my time in a little bit of a better way versus like going and buying all these groceries for my husband and I to eat a turkey dinner. Feels weird.
Yeah.
Alone feels weird.
Yeah.
I think
That's
the
a
thing
good
that
idea.
I've noticed in the pandemic is that I just feel disconnected to people, and I want to create deeper, more meaningful connections with people that I'm close to, and I want to use the holidays as like an opportunity to, even for Christmas. TJ and I are thinking about Keen's Steakhouse they take reservations for Christmas Eve. And so we were thinking, again, maybe like if there's some people hanging out in and around our neighborhood and neck of the woods, it would be nice to just start creating new traditions.
Traditions.
Yeah. Something
That's
to look
cute.
forward to.
Yeah. Keen's is nice too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to be in Washington with Cameron's family. So I'll probably do a Christmas with my family, like either before or after. Last year I was in Hawaii with her mom. So we did Christmas like at my place right beforehand. So probably do like another something like that.
Do you feel any kind of way about being somewhere else for the holidays, like at risk or just anything that you're considering?
Well, last year it was weird because I feel bad that I'm not going to be like at home with my family, but I can see my mom, like I go to my mom's house all the time now. It's just like a place to go that's not my house, that you're around safe, quote unquote, people, like pandemic. I'm talking pandemic style, you know what I mean? Like bringing the dogs, let them run around. So last year felt weird because it didn't feel like Christmas because I was in Hawaii and it's just hot and like not Christmas. It just didn't feel like Christmas. It's not a Christmas place. And we were supposed to go to Montana for this. This is like now all her sisters and dad, they're all coming from all the different parts of like the world, whatever. And we were supposed to go to Montana, but the Airbnb person decided just to cancel it on us, like
cute
recently, which sucked because like now we're like 2 months out from Christmas. Don't even get me started on that whole drama. But then I found a place that's like, I don't know, like not even a half hour from like the Portland airport. And I've never been to Portland. So I rented a car. We're going to be there for like 10 days. So I don't have any feelings. I don't think it'll be weird to be not with my family because I feel like as an adult, when you're in relationships, you tend to go back and forth with each other's families anyway. So it's just whatever. And I think that if I do miss a holiday, I always, in my family, we always make it up. So we always just have like another day, just Christmas, just not on the 25th or whatever the fuck. So yeah, I don't really have any, I don't know. I know Cam's dad likes to drink, so I'm curious if he'll get drunk. Like, I don't know, but I don't have expectations or apprehensions or anything going into it. When I was looking for a new Airbnb, I was like, I'm going to look in an area that will be like Christmassy, like snowy or just comparable weather. Because she's like, oh, her mom wanted us to like look in Arizona. And I was like, I told Cam, like, I don't want to spend Christmas in like a hot place again. So I'm not going to look down there. And I didn't. So I've also never been to the Pacific Northwest. Well, I went to Seattle, I guess, once, but just for like a concert. But so I don't know. I'm interested to like check out that area. Like I said, I got a rental car, so hopefully we can I can take excursions away. If it's like too much
Important.
with all her family,
Very
then
important.
I have an out.
Yeah,
So,
we were planning to go home for Christmas before I had seen that it would cost us like an exorbitant amount of money to fly to the middle of nowhere in the Midwest. And
yeah.
I was like, I kind of want to get a hotel. I've never gotten a hotel when I went home.
Yes.
And like,
Yes.
then all the kids can come and swim and it'll be like at least an activity that people are looking forward to. And I was
What
like,
a
I
good
want to rent a
idea.
car and like finally have, for the first time, like finally kind of assessing my own needs in the situation and being like, I need some autonomy when I go home and being in a place to like
So
financially
true.
like match that versus just kind of being at the whim. Last time I went home, I literally stood outside the airport and waited for a taxi for 2 hours and there were no Ubers
What?
because I'm
Oh
from
my
a small place
God.
and I just had to wait. I was one
Oh
of the
my God.
last people standing there at the airport and I don't check luggage. So I was just
So
like
sad.
literally standing there
Right.
outside vaping. And yeah, I was just, there's something about that like I just am not excited about. And so I just told my family, like, I'm just not going to do it this year. It's not worth it to me to do the whole travel thing and feel stressed out about that and feel displaced. And I'd rather come in the springtime when it's nice in North Dakota
Yeah.
and at least get to do, I went in May last time this past year and we had a great time because the weather was nice. We went to the zoo, we like went to the park and
Mm.
there was just much more to do than when it's cold and
Yeah.
everybody's staying
Yeah.
inside. So I think that's like my move from now on. And yeah, it's time for us to kind of, we don't have kids. So it's like you have to make that
Yeah.
conscious decision of like, we're going to start our own things because I think, you know, usually when you have kids, you're either traveling with them or hosting yourself. And you
Sure.
have to kind of actively make that decision. Like, what do we want to do during these few days off that we get? So I'm looking forward to that.
I think it's important to like I'm renting a car because I want to make sure that I have an out. And I feel like people in baby sobriety should I know we've mentioned this in holiday episodes in the past, but like yeah, it's a little like pricey, but if you can swing it, I highly recommend doing it just so you could have peace of mind and like it's just will relieve anxiety knowing that you could just go out for a drive, go to the grocery store, like whatever, you can make up an excuse.
Yeah.
And like you said about like a hotel, I think next year they want to do, everyone wants to go down to Hawaii because her mom just bought a new house.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I'll go, but if I do go, Cam said, she's like, we will get a hotel. And I'm
Mhm.
like, what? She's like, no, we're getting a hotel if like the whole family's there. She's like, no. And I'm like, okay, like I like this.
Support.
I like this plan.
Yeah.
Because like you don't have to stay at the, like if you want to crash at your mom's, you can, but or like spend the whole day at your family's and then just like have that sanctuary
Yeah.
of not being at your family's house.
I also now have
So-
a 3-night rule when we go places or when people stay with us because like after the third night, even sometimes the second night, it's like weird. It's like the newness. So in my mind, this is how traveling works when you go to see people is like you spend one day traveling. So that evening there's usually like a special dinner and everything is exciting and you're catching up and there's a nice fun dessert and then you go to bed and then there's usually an activity the following day where we plan something, right? Like
Yeah.
we're all going to go do the zoo tomorrow. Great. Okay. So then there's usually like a fun other dinner the second night. But by the third day, everyone is kind of like the newness has worn off. You're kind of like,
Yes.
okay, I would
In
like
each
to
other's
do something
space.
on my own now, but it feels weird to like want to say that out loud. Like I feel obligated,
Yeah.
like we should have another activity to do, but like for everybody, so I said to TJ, like these week-long things that we've been planning, I think we're the wrong
Too long.
move. Like we just need to bookend it so that we can enjoy ourselves, unless it's like a vacation that him and I are going on where it's like we truly can do nothing
That's
or
different.
go
That's
sightseeing for
completely different.
7 days. But when it's like involving a bunch of people that you've never seen, it's like you're leveraging their time then also where
Yeah.
there's not necessarily a shitload to do and you're just all hanging out like no one can kind of really do what they want to do, but we're all together. And so I was like, I
I
think we've been
know.
thinking about this all wrong. It's like
Oh my God,
3-night
you're so
maximum.
right. That's such a smart move. Oh, I love that you just said that. Cam has a friend that came and stayed with us like a couple months ago. And I think she stayed for like 4 or 5 days, like 5 days or something.
too
And
many
towards the
days.
end, it was like,
It was like, get
It's
out of
too
my
many
house.
days.
Yeah.
yeah. And like, nice girl,
Yes.
Not anything to do with her, but like she wakes up early.
Yes.
Like, and she was, don't get me wrong, she was very respectful
Sure.
and quiet in the mornings, but it's like, I know you're up. So now
Yep.
I feel like I have to be up to entertain you or whatever. And then like a month later, Cam's like, hey, she's coming back. Can she stay the night?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, of course she can stay the night. Well, there was a miscommunication.
Right.
And it was actually like another like 3 nights.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so pissed because I was like, I'm still exhausted from when she was here the first time. So it's funny, the other night, yesterday or 2 days ago, Cam's like, so she's coming back, and she's like, don't worry. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I can't do it again.
Yeah, one
like,
or two
it's
is
too
fine.
much.
It's like, yeah, you're new. This is fun. But by the 3rd and 4th and 5th night, you're like, why are you still in my house?
Exactly. And it's like, I get that she
And
doesn't
we
have
need to
money
get
for
back to
like, a
business as
hotel, and
usual.
that's fine. It's just like, you're overstaying your welcome.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yes.
Like,
So those are my pro
But anyway.
tips. 3-night rule, everybody.
Those are great tips.
And
Those
if
are
you take a
great
week off
tips.
of work, then just fly home earlier. Come home early and have like 2 days to get your life
Yourself.
together and like binge watch some TV and like be a gremlin on the couch. That's my
Love it.
fave. So those are my pro
3-night
tips.
rule. Rent a car.
Mm-hmm.
Get a hotel if you can.
Mm-hmm. 3-night
And
rule, though. I mean, really,
make
that's
new traditions.
yes. Those are pro tips from toddler sobriety.
Yeah,
I think
I
I'm in
love that.
kid sobriety now. I'm almost at
You
6.
you're like a kindergartner.
Mm-hmm.
You're almost at 6.
Mm-hmm. I'll
You're
be
almost
6
first
in
grade.
February. Yeah.
My God, you're
Isn't that crazy?
you're entering what's it called? Elementary.
Mm-hmm.
Your elementary.
Yeah, I'm learning
sobriety.
multiplication in sobriety now.
That's bananas.
Yep. I've entered
Well,
the matrix.
Until we meet again.
Happy Thanksgiving. And be nice.
Don't forget.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget. Be nice to yourself. Oh.
Hangovers suck.
Hangovers suck.
The hangovers suck. Hangovers suck.
They still suck.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Every review helps other listeners find us. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Kate Sander. For show notes and resources, check out seltzersquad.com.